there is some intangibles that go along with creating content. There are some, I guess, ebbs and flows, the natural process that you will take when you have a concept in your mind and you get to done. And one of the things that I've realized in life, that it doesn't really matter what it is I do or what it is I am focused on or whatever it is that I'm giving my attention in that moment. One of the things I've realized in life is that if I have enough at bats, right? If I get enough reps, if I'm able to set myself up to have the experiences that enable me to keep on flexing those muscles, I will invariably not only get better at that thing. In fact, that's just a microcosm of life. If you have more at bats, you will get better. But one of the other things that I recognized is that if I have more reps, if I get more time, I will also begin to start seeing some frameworks, start seeing some workflows, start understanding where I can leapfrog some steps and put together a process that enables me to get to done sooner. My dad is a carpenter, and one of the things I always loved about working with my dad in the carpentry shop is that he would develop these what we call jigs. All right, if you're in the woodworking world, architectural millwork, carpentry, woodworking, whatever you might want to call it, if you're in that world, you know that there's a term called a jig. And it's like a general term for a thing that you put together that's going to enable you to do the same thing every single time. It's going to allow you to have a level of consistency. Pocket hole jig, right? You have the dowel jig, right? You want to put these holes into the wood at a certain angle, at a certain space every single time. People have actually created what would normally be called like a template to be able to get to that place and have the same level of consistency every single time. And I love that about woodwork. One of the things I also recognize about my dad is that when he launched into business for himself, this is giving you a lot of window into who I am, but when he launched into business for himself, he had a business partner, but that business partner didn't have the same drive, the same hunger, the same approach, I would say, towards the business. And so what he would do, what my dad ended up having to do, long story short, they parted ways amicably. He went up, set up his own business. My dad continued to set up his own business. And one of the things that we noticed as kids is that my dad's efficiency level shot through the roof. And it wasn't because, his business partner was holding him back, but it's because my dad was constantly creating these workflows. He was creating these processes and procedures that would allow him to get to done sooner. It allowed him to leapfrog certain steps. He didn't have to do all of the things every single time he wanted to put some formica on top of a table. He didn't have to do everything that he had every time to be able to do the router around the edge of that countertop. He figured out these frameworks, these workflows that would enable him to leapfrog some of the steps required to get to done sooner. And one of the things that I also recognize is that he didn't need a peer necessarily. He needed someone who would just plug into the workflow where he needed them to plug in so that he could deliver on the value that he knew he was going to provide. I have taken that very same approach to content. I have taken that exact same methodology, that same thinking to content. And this is one of the reasons why I don't necessarily call myself a traditional, video production person. I've had a lot of experience in big box production houses, but I wouldn't necessarily call myself a traditional media professional because I come at it differently. I come at it from the perspective of, I want to achieve this. I want to be a consistent content creator and leverage the benefits that only can be realized when you are a consistent content creator. That's the goal. Well, if that's the goal, there's a lot of this stuff on the other end that I don't necessarily need to involve myself with. And this is where the concept for what I'm launching into comes into play. Helping people to leverage video naturally. Helping people to stop complicating content. This is definitely a huge shift and pivot for me. But I want to liken it to this quick little story here, and it's that if you're running a race, right? A 400 meter hurdles race, right? That's one lap around any performance track. 400 meters, one lap around, and you're gonna have a certain amount. Let's say everybody's got about 10 hurdles that they've got to jump over in this 400 meter race. Now, I know this isn't exactly the way that it works. I'm just humor me. Well, if one of the people who are running the race has the opportunity just by their workflow to take 8 of the 10 hurdles out of the race for them, don't you think they're going to get to the finish line sooner? Wouldn't you be able to do that a lot more consistently? And this is what I really want to focus my content on, is helping people remove the friction so that they can have their content flow, helping people find those points in their process that are causing them to have that immediate reaction, that knee-jerk reaction that says, I really don't want to do this because it's going to be hard. I don't want to do this because I got to set up the lights. I don't want to do this because I'm going to have to do the editing. I don't want to do this because I'm going to have to figure out the thumbnail. I don't want to do this because of X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Let's take time to figure out what those things are. How can we systematize them so that we can get to what we really want, which is the benefits of content. My name is Kirk Nugent. I teach time-saving video production techniques for the non-media professional, enabling them to leverage the power of content. I literally in these spaces and on this channel, what I have attempted to do is to teach people how to produce consistent content, even on a tight schedule, even with no prior video experience. You can turn your knowledge into income. You can turn your impact. You can turn your knowledge into impact. You can turn your knowledge into income through the power of video with light or no editing required. This, family, is quite literally how it all works. I don't believe that we should be complicating content. I believe there is a way for each of us to leverage video naturally. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room. Several of you are with us today. Some of you are somewhat surprised by the title of today's live and the thumbnail, saying that this is the finale. There is no subterfuge here. This is not clickbait. This is quite literally the final coaching corner here on this channel. And I have absolutely loved and enjoyed this time that we've been able to spend together. But as with everything, there are seasons, and those seasons change. Those seasons change sometimes because of the natural ebb and flow of life. Sometimes those seasons change because you've got to give space and make room for something new. And sometimes those seasons change because that season is over. And I believe that I have been called into a new season, and I'm excited to serve the audience here on the channel in some slightly different ways. I'm going to share about how you can be involved with that, maybe even sign up for a waiting list for some of the things that we're building here on the channel before the end of today's show. But this is still the Coaching Corner, even if it is the last time. We're going to be chatting a little bit more about how do we reduce the friction in our workflow? How do we leverage video naturally? How do we uncomplicate, if that's a word, our content process. And if you have questions surrounding that, make sure you go ahead and throw a Q colon in the chat, and I'd love to be able to engage with you. As always try to start off with a word of prayer. So let's bow our heads right now. God, thank you for this time that we were able to spend together, for this digital space that has been created, and for the years that we've spent in community with one another. And I'm excited for those that will turn the page with me and go into the next chapter together. Bless our time together, we pray, oh God, in your precious name. Amen. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I am excited to be here with you. So excited to chat it up for another coaching corner session. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I see some familiar faces already in the chat. Equip Institute is with us, says just sharing with people how that they can answer their questions. Florence is her name. She says it's been productive. Move when you need to move to continue creating. I love that. I love that. Monty Weaver is on the live. I see Micah Flemings is on the live. I see David Hunt. Rodney Full Circle is here. I'm not even certain what this name is. What's this name? Let me see if I can pull this up. B1GM Dub. Big Man Dub, maybe Big Man Dub. I don't know. I don't know. But top of the morning to you as well, sir. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today. I see Mary Lou is on the live with us as well. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. Aloha, David says, I love that. Dr. Vibe Show says, greetings, family. What's up? Even my guy, Dwayne Wood, is on the live, says, fam, what's going on? Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. Listen, this is the finale of the Coaching Corner. Man, we have had so many awesome, crazy, ridiculous experiences in this space, and I'm super excited to be able to have served as your host for several years. Here's one of the things I want to share, man. Coming out of the pandemic, I'd done some production work in the past. I've always had access to studios and things like that in several different areas and arenas of my work and my life. Monty says, say it ain't so. But by and large, going into the pandemic and quitting my full-time job and going into essentially remote production and content coaching full-time, that was a major shift for me. That was a major shift for me. And so learning these spaces, learning what it is to have a podcast, but then also what is one of the most critical components. In fact, I have these 3 pillars that I live by. One is be consistent. All right. The second is to be vulnerable. And the third is to answer a question. And if your content can do all 3 of those, you will see results. You will systematically and methodically march your way towards your goals if you can do those 3 things. But one of the things I realized in coaching is that there was something different about the way I approach content. There was something different about how I'm able to churn out content in a way that is consistent and in a way that allows for people to have it at high quality and have it answer questions. These are the things. These are the things that I see your comment, David Hunt. You guys I love it. I love it. I love it. But these are the things that I started to realize, and I started to kind of put some of these puzzle pieces together. That some of the things that I take for granted, the fact that I can not even. I mean this quite sincerely. 2 minutes before going live, I just asked my daughter to get me some water because I had not turned on anything in the studio. And I was able to walk in, say HEY Google, turn on studio lights, and it did that. And within another 60 seconds or so, I was able to click that go live button. And that's all because of the way that I've created my workflow. The amount of steps that I used to have to do that I no longer have to do because I will have been intentionally reducing the friction so that my content can flow. And those are the things that I really feel called to assist people with going forward in this new season. I've done a lot of how-to videos, and you'll still see some of that. You'll still see some of the functions and features that are from these platforms. You'll see some videos pertaining to those, but from the perspective of how do we use these things to ensure that our content flows, to ensure that we reduce the friction so our content flows. So you're going to still see some of that, but this space that we are in right now, we're transitioning. Come on. I see you, Monty. We're transitioning this space on Wednesdays at noon, where we would normally have the coaching corner, is going to be transitioned to a masterclass format. And I'd love for you guys to be able to come for the masterclass, but I also recognize that maybe some of you have been around for this leg, and maybe some of you are going to, need or require something slightly different as you go into the next season. But if you are a person who has struggled, right, has done the whole start, stop with content. You have a good month, you have a bad month, you have a good couple of months, you have a bad stretch of months. You've been able to put out consistent content, but then something happens and things kind of devolve. I did some stats in the post-pandemic time frame where there was something like 80+% of podcasts that were started during the pandemic that died when outside became open again. Why is that? It's because they never developed a process or a workflow that could stand them not being stuck inside. And so great podcasts, some of them, shot up to notoriety and fame, but they died, they fizzled because they were not able to maintain consistency. And consistency is what these workflows and processes are all about. I also believe this, your personal process and workflow that is specifically for you may or may not be right for someone else. I believe this is a custom fit scenario. And so while there are some principles that can be taught, and that's what I'm gonna be doing in the masterclass every other Wednesday going forward, there are some principles that can be taught around, going from friction to flow. But then you also have some very specific things that you need to look into. Now, I see a number of comments that are coming in and I am super excited about them. So let me see if I can grab a couple of those comments right now. Man, where's one of my cheat codes is to be able to actually bring up scenes and things on the stream deck. So here we go. Mary Lou is here. We got Monty Weaver. Rodney is here, says, good afternoon, boss. Good afternoon to you as well. Several of you that are watching live, excited to have you with us. For those of you watching on replay, I want you to just put in the chat right now, right? If you're watching live or on replay, I'd love for you to be able to put in the chat right now, what if anything we have done on this channel that has helped you. If there's anything that we've done on this channel, or in particular in this particular space, the coaching corner, that has helped you, I would love to hear that from you today. If you don't have a question, I'd love to be able to hear how the content we've provided on this channel has helped you, has impacted you, has enabled you to be consistent, has enabled you to get across the line, and be specific. Again, if you're watching on replay, put it in the comment section. I will be reading all of them. And then if you're watching this live, go ahead and drop it in the chat right now. I would love to be able to chat it up with you as well. I'm seeing several comments coming through here, but then again, I was hoping to actually, okay, I was clicking the wrong thing, y'all. I was clicking the wrong thing. All right, but yeah. put that into the chat. Let me know. Would love to be able to engage with you. Would love to be able to engage with you. All right, so let me see what we got. Let me go back to comments. So first comment is from Equip Institute. It's being productive. Move when you need to move to continue creating. I love that. Thank you, Florence. All right, Me Too Reviews says, new sub here, love your content. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you. And always love when we have new people coming through and subscribing to the channel. Always good. David Hunt says, Kirk, I just realized that I have 999 videos on my YouTube channel. All 999 are inspired by Kirk Nugent. This is how it all works. That is so dope, my friend. I want to say a word of appreciation to you for putting that out there. I don't know if all 999 were inspired by me, but I take the flowers. I appreciate you, sir. Truly, truly, truly appreciate you. Florence says, yes, friction-free workflows. That's the part right there. Monty is agreeing, reducing friction. That part, that's good. Florence says, maximize 1,440 minutes by reducing friction. I love that. I love that. The last comment that I have, at least for now, is from Dr. Dwayne Wood. Says, I spent a main session with you and learned from you every week. My current course is a direct result of Kirk Nugent. And I want to say thanks to you, Dwayne Wood, for putting that out there and being so gracious. It has been amazing. It has been amazing to kind of work with you over this time frame. There we go. Doc Bashara says, your how-to videos are golden. Hey man, I'm glad for that. And I see that you have that yellow star, which means you are a member on the channel. And I just want to say a word of thanks to you for being a member here. And listen, you're still going to have plenty of content that you can consume here on the channel. I've been encouraged and inspired. Mary Lou says, I've been encouraged, inspired to keep going. Also triggered an entire studio makeover. Hey man, that is so super dope. I want to say a word of thanks to Mary Lou for coming through and hanging out. Mary Lou is also a dope creator, and always good to be able to bring people in that you can partner with. And Mary Lou has been one of those people. David says, you never fail to answer a question in a way that helps me to learn. Thank you, David. Thank you, David, for that. I truly appreciate it. Moderators are doing their good work here. Gary Jones says, greetings. This channel has given me tools and systems to serve others and complete productions in a systematic manner. Come on. Oh my word. Y'all are doing all the things today. I appreciate this. David Hunt says, my new series on the channel is a direct result of your inspiration. Be bold. Somebody prayed for me. Hashtag guess who. Listen, I love that. I love that. You promised a tutorial about the EVMUS RTMP ingest. Yep, I definitely did. It's on the content calendar. So it's definitely coming. So that's definitely something that's there. And I want to say a word of thanks to you for coming through, Alexandra, for your comment and for your support. Yeah, we're still going to be covering some content for the different platforms. In fact, that's exactly what we have been retooling and redesigning to do, to be able to produce videos a little bit quicker. And again, like I said, it's all a learning experience. It's all part of this process of being able to not only learn it for myself, but also to be able to share it and teach it to others as well. Imagine what life would look like if you had a workflow, if you had a process that made it simple and easy for you to produce consistent content with high quality on a regular basis. Imagine what that would look like. And there are some things that I absolutely will recommend. There's some things that I will not be recommending anymore. So, you're just gonna have to stay tuned and look out for some of the changes that are gonna be coming on the channel. But again, as I mentioned today, being our final coaching corner. Now, we do have about 32 minutes left in the coaching corner, and which means you've got about 32 minutes to get your questions answered. And I definitely want to make sure that you guys get a chance to do that. Um, oh my word. I'm just looking at some of my other notes here, but I definitely want to make sure you guys get a chance to do that. One of the questions that I received from somebody even ahead of today's live show was, hey, how can I stay tuned with some of the stuff that you have going on the channel? How can I stay tuned and sign up for some of the things you guys have, some of the updates that you're going to be doing and some of the things that you're going to be sharing? And so one of the things I said to them was, you can jump on our mailing list. You can join our mailing list. And so I'm going to actually try to put that link in the chat. This is interesting. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. If you go to howitallworks.com, you can actually, ooh, it's not there either. You know what, man? These are the things that happen that you want to be prepared for, but then it's like, where did that link go? Okay. So let's do that. And that was not the plan at all. So hopefully, yeah. Oh yeah. If you want to, this is definitely one of the things that we can do here. So we're just gonna work on this live right now. We're gonna work on this live right now. Go to landing page, and we're gonna have that drop you on that one there. Let's save that. And all right, so if we go to this page, I don't actually know what the name of that page is. All right, let me see what we got here. Anybody else? 13 of you guys on the live right now. Definitely want to ensure that you get your questions answered, but I don't see any questions coming in. So just going to make sure that we get this link into the chat. And the link is kirkarnugent.com/signup. That was the answer to one of the questions. One of the questions was kirkarnugent.com/signup. And so that is one of the links that I'm going to put in the chat right now. So you can actually jump on over there if you'd like. You can get a free equipment guide just by signing up. You'll also see some of the other things that we have on the page there. So definitely take some time to think through all the things that you got going on. All right, let me see what we got here. Okay, so let's take this comment down. And we have two comments, one from Mary Loon. What do you suggest for multiple filming spots in one room? I get bored with my one setup. So this is a great question. And I'm gonna take my time to answer it. So while I'm gonna take my time to answer it, I also wanted to see what TF Yoga says. Join the mailing list. I finally got a Mac Pro, and it is a shift on how I have been moving. I let go of StreamYard, and now I am on Go Brunch. I hope you went over to Ecamm since you now have a Mac Pro. But I thank you so much for the comment. Now, Mary Lou says, what do you suggest for multiple filming spots in one room? No, so first of all, even with your existing setup, right? If you're set up to shoot one way like this, you are already set up to shoot multiple locations, because you have this view and then you also have this view. So if I were to set up a camera that was the other way, now let's see if we can do this. This is going to be interesting. Yep. Let's turn that on. Let's get camera here. Want to add my phone to the switcher. And here we go. Yes. Okay, perfect. She says, yes, Ecamm. I'm so excited for you. I think it's going to be awesome. So here now, I'm showing myself. You can see the continuity cameras on the camera. So here I'm going to switch. So this is what it looks like this way. And this is this is what I mean. So this is one view. So that's one setup. But if I turn around, I'm going to turn the other way so that I don't tangle myself up in the mic. So if I turn around, I don't know what that looks like because I can't see, but if I turn around, this is yet another view. Your setup, right? Your screens is always going to be another view. So it's just a matter of being able to have a camera or have the flexibility to have a camera on the other side of your desk. I have found this view where people can actually see my desk, where people can see the Rodecaster Pro and they can see all the lights and things. That is a view that people really do like to have. So that's one view. And so that's one of the ways that I would highly recommend you leverage what you currently have to add another view to your studio. The second thing that I would say, oh, Backpack Jeff, I'm coming to you. The second thing that I would say is what is behind you in your room or your set. It's usually going to be a little blurred, right? So let's just making sure my phone is disconnected. So what's behind me in the set right now is blurred because I'm not in that part of the set. I'm not in that part of the studio. So you can see that there's some pictures on the wall. You can see there's some stuff back there, but you can't necessarily see it very clearly because I am the focal point. And because I'm the focal point, the rest of the stuff is blurred. That's a function of the camera that I'm using. This is the Sony a6400. So if you have enough space, there's one of the things that I did incorrectly at one point in time is I had stuff kind of set up in the middle of the room, and that did not work out well for me. So what I ended up doing was pushing all my stuff towards the front of the room so that I had depth behind me, right? So having the depth behind me enables me to have a whole other set in the other part of the room. So if you have a room that's, long ways, if you can set up as close to the other wall as you can see them. Basically, my camera can't be set up any further back than it is right now. Then what that enables you to do is have a whole other set of things in other areas in your room. Now, I've got a bunch of wires and other things in here, but when people walk into the space, they are interested. They are tickled by what they see because there's so many different angles that they can look at, and they're like, man, you could record something over there. You could record something over there. You've got stuff right here. Like, there's a lot of different things that you can do. There's stuff that's not even on right now that you guys are seeing in the shot that just because I did not necessarily prepare to show them. So I'm going to actually, turn some of those things on. So this bookcase has lights on it. Then of course you got the TV there. So it just has its own different look and feel. And quite literally, this is a whole other shot. So just being able to showcase what people can't see, this is another space that you can do a video in. And it doesn't require me to actually change anything, doesn't require me to move my studio around, but I'm getting the best use of the space. Now, in both shots, the one that you're looking at now and the original one that you were looking at earlier, you still can't necessarily see what's in the rest of the room, which is on purpose. Now, I'm going to see. Here we go. Let's see if that will work. Still didn't work. There we go. This thing, it's like this, the A6000, when it goes to sleep, it really goes to sleep. So, all right. So now we will come back to my main shot, right? So this is my main shot. This is where you normally see me. But then how would you be able to see some of the other things? So I have a shot that is pulled out a little bit more, and that's this Sony a6000. And so from that shot, you can still see me, but you see way more, right? You can see my top-down shot here. You can see my boom mic. You can see some of the lights that are on the wall behind me. And because this lens is slightly different, you actually can see a lot more of the background than you would when I am just sitting at my main shot. So now I'm moving out of the shot so you can kind of see that there is 2 chairs and a couch behind me. So there's actually 4 sitting areas in this room that I can utilize. And of course that lighting profile changes depending on what's happening, but there's 4 different areas in this room that I can utilize for different looks for different shots, depending on what I've got going on. And the other thing that I've always found is whenever you can show people what they weren't able to see, right? You're giving them a behind the scenes, if you will, right? So this is my primary shot. This is what it normally looks like. And I can take the overlay off and you'll see what the shot looks like. Okay. That's my normal shot. But when I'm able to pull out and show you what this looks like, or show you my top down shot, or show you another version of the shot that you were already seeing, it's just that you're seeing from a wider perspective, it gives people a window into, okay, that's what's possible when if I just put the camera in a slightly different location. And I'm using the names of the cameras because I want you to know these are all old cameras. So the camera that you're looking at right now, this one is the Sony A6400. I don't even know how many years old this is, but it's the first camera that I bought when I first got into content creation. All right. The camera behind it, which is the kind of pulled out shot, this is the A6000 with a kit lens. So we're not even talking about like I bought these both used on KEH.com. No, didn't spend a whole lot of money on either of them. On the other camera, this one here, I did spend money on the lens. I did spend money on the teleprompter. I got the Elgato prompter, and I did spend money, of course, on the, well, relatively speaking, I spent some money on the tripod. So this setup is my primary setup. This camera does 4K. This is my primary camera. But so this camera was my top-down shot for a while, but I just realized that with the PTZ camera, I can just do a whole lot more with my top down. So I can adjust this where necessary. I mean, it just being able to and have that be 4K, that's just been a game changer for me. But the fact that you can actually see this camera in this shot enables people to visualize, oh, that's what's going on, right? So even here, you can still see this camera in this shot, and it allows people to get another window into all the things that are possible in this space. So there's a couple of different ideas there that you can really look into, really sink your teeth into. But it's just in my opinion, it's a matter of pre-planning. It's a matter of workflow as well. It's a matter of what is the experience you want for your show. Like one lady came in, did a show with me, and she was just shocked at how many. It's like you have all these microphones. Like, you know, you have the shot down mic, you've got the SM7B, you've got the MB7X over here, and then there's another mic sitting off to the side there that I have. And she was just like, "Why in the world do you have all these microphones?" I'm like, well, different shows or different content call for a different type of look. And because I was able to do brand deals with a lot of these microphone and audio brands, they send me the equipment, I'm able to do content on it, and then we just kind of set it up in the studio going forward. So it wasn't so much that I was paying for them, but because I have use cases for them, I think the only one that I paid for is the shotgun mic up here. And again, that's just for me to be able to have a clean look when I'm on camera. So now you're hearing me on that one, which it's a different sound profile, different audio profile, but it's a cleaner look. And so for many people, there's brands that I work with who are like, we really don't want to have a mic in the shot. So if you could set it up so that you don't have that would be great. That's an option. Another option is to utilize this mic. This is the MB7X. And again, it's just a different look. You have some of the mic arm in the shot. The mic is suspended in the air. So I'm able to, again, be hands-free. The desk is free. I've got space. It's a different working environment, different creating environment. And so being able to have both, I can not only utilize them for different types of content, but I can also speak to the pros and cons of each. But I'll be honest, my preferred is just having the mic on the desk. It gives me something to play with because I'm a fidgeter. And the type of mic stand that I purchased, I made sure that it isn't going to pick up the noise of the desk and some of the things that I do with my hands when I am streaming. So these are some of the things, and I hope that that gives you some ideas around what's possible in these spaces. Thank you for the question, Mary Lou. Now, I know we had a question from, I think it's Backpack Jeff. I hope that you're still here. I hope that you're still here, Backpack Jeff. I saw your question, and it was, is Ecamm better than StreamYard, and why? I'm always hesitant to say better or worse. I'm always hesitant to say better or worse because Mary Lou, thank you so much for your comments as well. But I'm always hesitant to say better or worse, Backpack Jeff, because better or best is relative to the person who's using it. It's relative to your why and what you hope to achieve. Now, what am I using right now? That's probably the question that most people want to ask, but they frame it as, what do you think, which one is better? Okay, so let me just add to your question. Which one is better for Kirk? Ecamm, hands down, period, point blank, end of story. Without even question, Ecamm is better for Kirk. Now then we could get into why is Ecamm better? Because of the workflow, because of the way my mind works, because of the ease with which I am able to churn out content of different types and formats, whether it's a course, whether it's a presentation, whether it's public speaking, it doesn't matter. I can churn it out with Ecamm. And there's so many different things that allow me to reduce friction because of the functionality inside Ecamm. And so one of the reasons why I'm able to go live and show you what you're seeing on screen right now is it's one button. I'm able to integrate that with a Stream Deck, and that creates a workflow that is so doable. It makes my entire production experience so seamless, and that others are saying, I want to do what you're doing. And the truth is, if that is your top priority, then I would say probably Ecamm's is a better platform for you too. But StreamYard is a great platform as well. And I have clients, because their priority structure is different than mine. Actually, I would recommend StreamYard to them, because for them, one of the major things is that they want to be able to have producers in different locations managing the same stream at the same time. And I'm like, that's not possible with a platform like Ecamm. It's not web-based. Also, what Ecamm is a Mac only platform. So it's, once you start to peel back the layers, you start to kind of say, oh, well, you know, so then you almost ask the question differently. What's the best, you know, content creator platform for a Windows or for browser based? And if you say that, then I would say, okay, then you kind of, now you've limited me to a couple of different options. And Ecamm is not one of them, because Ecamm is not browser based. Ecamm, you can't do remote. Ecamm doesn't work on Windows, right? So you have these limitations that Ecamm has, but I just don't, none of those limitations apply to me. Now, I'll also go back to say, once you recognize what is top of your priority, if you creating the content quickly, effectively, efficiently, reducing the friction is top priority, then there are some workflows you can employ inside Ecamm that's going to make it seem really easy. So much so that you will be able, I mean, I had one client literally just bought a Mac Mini because she'd never used a Mac before. She bought a Mac Mini just for content creation and streaming. She's like, this is just going to be my stream machine, creator machine. So she did that. she didn't even realize how much she was already used to the Apple world because she's an iPhone user. But once she got that workflow down, once that became easy, in fact, this is one of the ways I actually do like to teach it, because her primary machine was a Windows machine and she had that in somewhere else in her home. The Mac Mini was able to stay where it is, stay with the screens that she had set up, stay with the camera she had set up, and it never moved from there. So it made so much easier for her to walk in, hit the Stream Deck button, record what she needed to record, hit the Stream Deck button again, upload that file, and walk back out. It made her life so simple because of the way this platform, that's the way that it works. So those are some of I hope that gives you a broad answer, Backpack Jeff, to some of what you have been sharing. And for those that are coming in, you kind of missed some of the different pieces or elements that we said at the beginning. Today is our finale for the Coaching Corner. It has been a wild ride. We've been doing something on noon on Wednesdays for almost 4 years. I started How It All Works in 2019, Memorial Day weekend. And you guys know what was just this past Monday, right? Memorial Day. So I started How It All Works on that Monday Monday of Memorial Day in 2019. That's 6 years ago at this point. So, but the midweek huddle, which was my Wednesday show, I started that maybe a year or so later, and we've been rocking. The midweek huddle was the first version, and then we changed the name to the Coaching Corner, but it was in the middle of the week, middle of the day. And it is intended to be just like what it was called originally, this huddle. This, you break from the work, you come together, we get a chance to gain insights, perspective. Are you going to go left? Are you going to go right? When I say blue 42, hut, is it 3 huts? Is it 2 huts, right? Some of those things are just teamwork type items that we wanted to really impress and employ, but then we shifted to the Coaching Corner. And again, it's intended to denote a break from the hustle and the grind, from the work, to be able to come aside, gain insight and perspective so that you can return to the tasks that you have before you with renewed strength and energy and insight so you can really launch back out into your week. That's what this space was intended for. And I think that we have absolutely fulfilled that promise over the years. But as they say, all things, whether they're good or bad, but I like to say all good things must come to a close. And today is that close. And so we're excited for the legacy that this space leaves, but we hope that you'll rock with us in this new journey that we're on, which you can do by signing up for the mailing list. Now, let me go back to some of the comments. I see Backpack Jeff is here. Park Braz is with us as well. We moved our show from StreamYard to Ecamm for several reasons. There we go, Park Braz. Come on through. Hey, Mary Lou says here, oh my goodness, there's so many options in that room. I'm impressed. Thank you so much. Ty Fascia says, I like this last shot. Come on. Hey, listen, you gotta have some options. David is doing his great moderator work. Great question and welcome. I have a feeling I know what Kirk's answer will be. Yes, you do, because I've answered it for you multiple times. I'm excited to get other people's opinion on the StreamYard Ecamm question. But again, it's going to come down to you working in your strength. Now, Backpack Jeff is back. He says, I'm a speaker and I want to stream in multiple platforms with co-host for our YouTube channel. I have a MacBook. You can definitely do a co-host in Ecamm. I would say this, and I say this without reservation. If you have a Mac, and even if you don't, but if you do have a Mac, right? Let's just stop there. If you have a Mac, you owe it to yourself to at least do the free trial of Ecamm because you have a Mac. Like many of my StreamYard folks, they don't even have a Mac, so they can't even try it out. But if you have a Mac, I would challenge you to try it out and go check out my Ecamm Live crash course where I kind of walk you through the basics. It's free and it's on YouTube, but I would definitely recommend that you check it out. Make sure you sign up for the mailing list as well, y'all. And Backpack Jeff, I see you said thank you there, and I just want to say a word of appreciation for you. This, in my opinion, the smartest person in the room is the person that's going to ask a question. And on Wednesdays for the last number of years, that's what this space has been all about. And I cannot tell you how many people decided not to ask their question, and they would DM me on Instagram, and they would send me messages on Messenger for Facebook, and I'm like, this is not the way to get in touch. You should have asked your question during the coaching corner, number one, or the next best way to get in touch, if you just want to get some free advice from Kirk, is to drop a comment on any YouTube video. Don't you DMing me on these other platforms is cool, and I am putting in infrastructure to be able to be better about responding to those, but I am focused almost exclusively on YouTube. You generally, up until just the last couple of weeks, you really didn't find much content of mine on any of these other platforms. So work with me, because if I'm going to answer your question, the only thing I'm asking you to do is ask that question on YouTube, where I can get credit for the engagement. Ask the question on the platform that I need the credit for engagement. That's my incentive. My DMs on all the other platforms, they go to my VA. I sometimes respond, sometimes don't. You ask a question on YouTube, listen, it doesn't matter the video. It doesn't matter if the question is pertaining to the video. Find one of my videos, ask your question there, and you will be able to get a response from me. That I can promise you. That's not going to change. I've even had some conversations. You know, we're about to hit 11,000 subscribers on the channel. We're like 10 away from. Am I saying that right, David? Where are we at here? Let me go to my dashboard. We are 12 away from hitting 11,000 subscribers. 12 away from hitting 11,000 subscribers. Yeah, I'm going to show you the screen. 12 away from hitting 11,000 subscribers. So definitely want to make sure you guys get a chance to hit us up on the channel. But the thing is, even with us being at that subscriber count, which in some respects is not a lot, in some respects it is, but for me, I still want it to be personal. I still want it to be interactive. I still want people to be able to engage. And especially on YouTube, I want you to get a custom response specifically from me. And so that's something that I do and will continue to do. But if you want to continue rocking with us, you want to engage with us in some other ways, I ask that you go ahead and sign up for the mailing list. We're going to be dropping some value in the mailing list fairly regularly. So definitely want to make sure you guys get a chance to do just that. Okay. Okay. Yes. My Ecamm link is kirkarnugent.live, and I hope that my moderators have put that in the chat already. kirkarnugent.live/Ecamm. kirkarnugent.live/Ecamm. Hopefully my moderators will put that in the chat. They're usually way quicker than I am. So I'm throwing it in there as well. Okay, I hit the wrong thing. So there it is, kirkarnugent.live/Ecamm. If you hit up that link, you'll get a free trial. But if you hit up this link, kirkarnugent.com/sign up, that's where you can sign up for the mailing list. Okay. Hey man, I see some stuff coming up here. Let me see if I can catch up to some of the things I got. How has Coaching Corner changed you as a creator and a person? Ooh, Mary Lou, you always have these really dope questions. You have these really dope questions. I'm going to star that right now. I'm going to come back to it in just a second because I want to see if I can catch up on some of these other things. Yeah, I love this. Jeff, we stream our show to multiple platforms using Ecamm. Yes, and Ecamm is the only platform that will enable you to get comments back from Instagram. So I hear a lot of people saying a lot about streaming on Instagram, but Ecamm is the only platform that allows you to get comments back. I've streamed to Instagram from StreamYard and EVMux and Restream. None of them allow me to get comments back, and they're web-based. So Ecamm has kind of figured that out, and I think that's actually pretty dope. So Kirk's first public video. Oh my gosh, see how far we've come. Hey, David, how are you? Why are you posting this? Oh my word, priceless. Backpack Jeff says, on it now. Yeah, man, go ahead and use that link, kirkarnugent.live/Ecamm. Ecamm. I'm upgrading to an M4 later this year. I just upgraded Park Bras to an M4 Mac Mini. It's sitting right here right now, doing the dang thing, and it is absolutely amazing. Oh snap, y'all are pulling up the history right now. Dang it, I remember this, and I remember that too. Okay, all right. Park Bras is dropping a super thanks in the chat, and I just want to say a word of appreciation to you as well. Thank you, sir. Truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate it. Crazy stuff. We got all the sound effects for the super chat. I appreciate you, sir. Always good to when people can come back and say thank you. Always good. Always good. Yeah. Florence, your boy David is pulling out receipts right around now. So, so the receipts are coming through. Oh man, there we go. Backpack Jeff, I hope you got the link. Another party coming. That is correct. Yes. We have 10,988 subscribers on the channel. So we got 12. We're at 12 away from 11K, and I'm excited about that. Yes, you are correct. I was just about to ask. All right, I'll send you 12. You'll have it today. Come on. I like it. Late to the game today, but finale? Uh-oh, Dr. Otang. Listen, this is what I was trying to share earlier. Today is the last coaching corner. I started, and I think David Hunt just put this up there. And again, Mary Lou, I'm coming back to your question just a second, but I started 2019 Memorial Day weekend. I started doing this type of content, live content on this channel. My channel prior to that had nothing on there, just some fitness videos that I had done while I lived in South Africa from 2013 to 2015. That's when those videos were done, but I lived there from 2010 to 2015. But anyway, hadn't really done anything with the channel, decided to start doing some live content and just kind of showcasing. Immediately as I started to do live content, people were asking, how are you doing that? And I began putting out videos on how I was doing my live show. And that's kind of what has created this space. How It All Works was the name of the show, and we're bringing that back in August. I'm excited about that. We actually have some recordings scheduled for this week and next for that podcast. It's going to be podcast format. I'm really excited about that, but there's just a number of things that are going to be coming down the pike. And so today is the finale, the last coaching corner session. We still have some ways for you to be able to engage, and we'll still have some live opportunities for you to be able to ask questions. They just won't necessarily be on YouTube in this public format anymore. So that part is coming to an end, and we're having a little bit of a sunset for that. I'm gonna leave. I see the comments. I see the comments coming in. Yes, indeed. Backpack Jeff dropped a super chat. And yes, we got to that one. I was having a frame rate issue when screen sharing on Ecamm. Do you think the M4 will take care of that? I have an M1 now. I didn't have a frame rate issue when screen sharing on my M1 because I had the M1 Mac Mini for years. I got the M4 a couple of months now. Yeah, it's been a couple of months since I've had I've had it for a little bit, but I have noticed, however, is that Ecamm has redone the way that they do their screen sharing. So that has been different. So maybe if that's what you're referring to, yeah, I definitely would have to kind of go back through and do some testing side by side and see what we come back with. But I didn't really notice any frame rate issues on there. And I guess it would also depend, Park Bras, on what frame rate you're using. Okay, how has the coaching corner changed you as a creator and a person? This is such a great question. I think I'm going to use this question to land today. Definitely going to use this question to land today. One of the things that I like to share in coaching is this principle that I shared about earlier, and that is being able to respond to all my comments. It's a personal decision. It's not even something that somebody coached me up. I actually learned after the fact a lot of the benefits of responding to all of the comments on YouTube yourself is, of course, you do get the feedback. You know, somebody sent a message today saying, hey, you know, I love this content, but the background music's too loud. And I went back and listened to the video and I was like, you know what, they're right. And so I had that conversation with my video editor. I was like, we probably need to pull back on the background music on some of the videos that you edit. The videos that I record in Ecamm and post those live to Drive, I actually don't have any music in the middle. Go figure. It's the videos that my editor is doing that we're having to make some adjustments on. Just think about that for a second. Anyway, but when we talk about what have I learned from this space, how has it changed me as a creator and as a person, I've had to become okay with saying the phrase "I don't know." I've had to get comfortable in my own skin, just bringing my full self to these spaces. I actually have a iron deficiency condition that causes me to yawn a lot. Even with taking the supplements, I still yawn a lot, and it's not because I'm tired. It's just I get a case of the yawns is what I call it. And if you've been on the channel watching for a while, you probably know that about me. And I mean, in fact, I've even had people say, I don't even know how do you how can you be a live streamer and have a yawning issue? Like, isn't that a turnoff? Aren't people gonna leave? I'm like, I mean, that's just kind of who I am, you know? And it's one of those things that allows me a touch point with my audience, because there's so many things that we use to disqualify ourselves. So many different ways that we say that, well, that will work for them because they don't have this. Like, they don't have OCD. They're not a people pleaser. That'll work for them because they can be consistent. We self-disqualify because of the things that make us uniquely us. Some of them are things that we could possibly work on. Others are things that it's just who we are. And I just believe, you know, being in this space on a regular basis has taught me the power and the impact of a question. Somebody's question, when you fully understand their question, regardless of whether you have the answer or not, it enables you to get a window into a world that somebody else exists in. And if you can solve a problem in that world, oh man, that's what content is all about. Especially if you know that world, right? You don't have to fake it. Like, yeah, if I was in your world, I would do this. No, I would do this because I know your world. I'm in your world. I live in that. Your world is my world. And so the power of being able to come aside for these years on Wednesdays to, you know, have a loose agenda, but mainly to answer questions, it has been wildly beneficial and impactful for me. Wildly. I like to say this term, your live stream is the continuation of a conversation that you started with your content. You put out a video, you have a live stream, and you're able to continue the conversation you started with your video. So the video is just a piece of the conversation. It can't be the full conversation because it's only one way. Now with comments on that video, that produced video, you can actually still have a bit of a conversation. But there's many times that I've been able to say to somebody while responding to comments, hey, come on Wednesday for the coaching corner, and I'm going to make note of your question because I'm going to share a little bit on that question on Wednesday. It has changed me. It has caused me to grow. It has stretched me. Sometimes your questions cause me to look at these platforms and these tools and these functions and features in ways that I'd never thought to before. It allows me to give better feedback to the brands that I'm working with. It allows me to be a lot more all-inclusive and all-encompassing in my approach to creating content as I script my hook and I deliver the value, and as I close and throw to something else, right? This space has absolutely grown me tremendously as a creator and as a human being. And so I am equally grateful for this space that I have had the pleasure of hosting for the last number of years. But I will say, I think that everyone deserves to reap the benefits that I have from being able to have this kind of space. And so some might say, man, with that kind of glowing answer to this question, why are you stopping the coaching corner? Well, nobody said we're stopping it per se. We're revamping it and retooling it, repurposing this space because we want to have it make the best sense. I want to have the best impact possible for those who want to ask those questions. And I want to answer those questions in my area of expertise as we go forward. I just believe that the technology and the functions and the features of the platforms, while they are good, they are very limited in their impact. When I get into coaching, for the most part, nobody's asking me how to do an overlay in StreamYard. Nobody's asking me how to do a screen share in Ecamm. Nobody's asking me how to set up scenes in EVMux. They're asking me specifics around their workflow. Even if they don't know that's what they're asking, that's what they're asking. They're asking me, how do you maintain consistency? Man, I've got to do these 10 steps and you seem to only have one. How is that possible? And I'm able to help them to condense, in some ways outsource, in some ways completely eliminate some of those steps just by applying a different strategy, a different platform that has other functions and features. That's really where I found my value to be, is in ensuring that we reduce the friction that is stopping your content from flowing. And that's kind of the name that we've settled on. It's not real. I don't know if I can, where's my thing here? Let's go to my Masterclass page. That's kind of the name that we've settled on. You can kind of see it. It's right here where I say the Friction to Flow Masterclass, 5 principles that will unlock your ability to create quality content with consistency. It's going to be every other Wednesday, y'all, right here at this same time. We're still building it out, so it's not quite 100% ready yet. But I'll tell you this. For those that are on the live right now, if you sign up for the mailing list, or better yet, here's what we'll do, because that's going to be a little bit more generic. For those of you that have been rocking with the Coaching Corner and you have an interest in getting in being part of this ground level, I would say beta program of the Friction to Flow Masterclass, drop an email to info@howitallworks.com. Drop an email to info@howitallworks.com, and I will make sure we send you the first opportunity to sign up for the class when it is available. So info@howitallworks.com. If you're watching this live, or you're watching this on replay, or if you had to scrub backward because you missed something, you don't know what the opportunity is, drop an email to info@howitallworks.com, and we will ensure that you get the first opportunity to sign up for this new teaching series that we will be doing called Friction to Flow. Yeah, it's the culmination of years of coaching and training and designing for people who are busy, people who have never done content before, who are not media professionals, don't know all of the things about all the things. We've been able to structure a strategy and a workflow and a studio design that helps to work in concert with that workflow, so that they can churn out content with little to no video editing and without having that huge headache or that lift that you feel you have to do in order to create content. Like, that's what we're all about. Want to be able to leverage video naturally. Dr. Vibe, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm actually getting ready to close it down right here. For those of you who are in the Workers Warehouse membership, our WIN session, our WIN session, which is called Whatever I Need, is going to be live in the next, 15 or so minutes. We're going to be going in there, and I hope that all of you can jump in. I've got some critical updates I need to share with you guys as well. The Workers Warehouse membership includes everything that we offer on my platform, every course, every downloadable resource, whether it's an ebook, YouTube description template, all of the things, and including our course content, and our graphics content, right? So all the graphics, all the courses, all the resources that are downloadable, all of those are included in the warehouse, along with a monthly meetup / group coaching session and the win sessions every other Wednesday. That's what is included. That Workers Warehouse subscription, that Workers Warehouse membership is closed currently. And so again, you want to be notified in terms of when you can get into the Workers Warehouse. You're just going to need to go to the mailing list and sign up. That's this word. So, I mean, the mailing list, or drop an email to info how it all works. Let us know some of the ways that you want to be able to work with us. But this has been an absolute pleasure for me. And I say that, you know, with some pride, because I recognize that this has been a long journey. And I also recognize some of you have been rocking with us since the beginning. Some of those videos that David posted were very nostalgic in terms of some of the history, the long road that we've come on to arrive at this place. But I just want to say a word of thanks to each of you, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on replay. Listen, there is somebody. I said this in a coaching call with somebody who's actually in the comments, in the live comments today, but I said this on a coaching call with them. There's somebody who is waiting for you to put out that content. There's somebody who's unlock, you know, them going to the next level, them understanding what has been holding them back is predicated on you getting out of your own way and sharing the value that you have to provide. That's unequivocal. And I think it is incumbent on us, who are the stewards of our story, to be able to do the work that is necessary to understand how we can put out content so that it isn't a heavy lift, so that there isn't so much friction, because there's somebody who's waiting for it on the other side. And guess what? That person on the other side, they don't care if you have the jump cuts and they have your logo jumping in and out of the screen. They don't care, you know, if you've got the latest and greatest equipment, even though it does help, you know, as they say, spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. That's what camera quality and audio quality is all about. I wouldn't say necessarily to skimp, but this should not be a prerequisite to you creating content. And it shouldn't be a scenario where it's like, I've got to learn and know everything and I've got to do everything before I can create content. This is not that kind of scenario. What we're trying to achieve is essentially creating your own custom workflow that enables you to go from concept to done, where somebody's able to watch that content in the shortest amount of time possible without sacrificing quality. That, my friends, is how it all works. Don't complicate creating content. Let's leverage video naturally. It's your boy Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher. Super humbled and honored for the opportunity to be able to be your host and guide for this wild ride called the Midweek Huddle, aka the Coaching Corner. Hope that you will keep checking back in with us. Hope that you will join us for the next leg of the journey. Hit us up at the link that we've placed in the chat, and it's also going to be in the description, kirkrnugent.com/sign up. If you want to reserve a spot in the upcoming Masterclass series, Friction to Flow, make sure you drop us an email at info@howitallworks.com. Whew. This has been fun. I always like to say to folks that, you know, your live stream is your digital storefront. No better way to go from peaceful and paid to go from busy and broke to peaceful and paid than for your ideal customer to see you do your thing live. And when they see you do it live, they don't need the taste test. They don't need the ad campaign. They're ready to book the business. They're ready for the coaching call. They're ready to go to the next level, because there's no way you could have faked it while you were live. No way you could have prepared for their question, because they didn't even know what their question was that they asked you when you were live. And I believe that our definition of live can expand to include content as well. Your boy Kirk Nugent, as I mentioned before, the Geek Speaker Preacher, thankful for your time and attention. We'll see you around these internet streets or in the next video. Grace and peace, fam.